Well, this is I Survived Mexico on a journey. Surviving Mexico and enjoying it with my wife and I.
On
Say
a
hello.
road trip.
On a road trip. And the road trip is from Cancun. Actually, we started, Cancun is the general area in Quintana Roo, but we started just south of there in Puerto Morelos. And we're heading to Reynosa, which is the borderline into Texas. And then from there, we'll be going on to St. Louis. But we started approximately, I can give you the stats in a second.
We started at 2:30.
Yep, we started at 2:30 for an hour and 36 minutes ago.
So we passed through Cancun already.
Yes.
We skirted around the airport road, which goes on the outside of Cancun. And now we're on our way on the, it's called the Quota Road, which is a toll road to Merida. On the road to Merida. Merida is one of the oldest cities in all of the Americas. So if you ever had a chance to go to Merida,
Beautiful.
it's a very old, has a lot of history. It's really beautiful. Very what?
Yep, good.
Yeah, very historic. Obviously, is Spanish influenced. Also very Mayan influenced. So it's got a great history, and it talks a lot about the history of the Spanish-American War and the Spanish. Mexican wars and the French coming and all that stuff. So you learn a lot about Mexico in Merida. So we're going to sort of skirt around Merida, and then where are we heading?
Then we're going to be heading south towards Chiapas. But it's just a small area that we skirt through Chiapas. And then from Chiapas, we go to Tabasco. We cut through Tabasco. And then from Tabasco, we cut through Veracruz, a small portion of Veracruz. Then there's two ways from Veracruz. You can stay along the coastline, and it's not, even though it's the coastline, it's not scenic coastline, but it's along the border coastline. But at that point, it's not a highway. It's a small road. And it cuts through the villages, and we call them poblados. So what we call them, but that's the terminology.
Little town.
The towns, and there's a lot of things to say about them. The last time we came through here, which was 6 months ago, bringing half hour Kelly's studio, and we did it with a trailer. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was
It was a wild trip.
It was a wild trip.
I'll tell you that much. We went along the coastline, and the road was a little more rough.
Right.
Would be my way of
Treacherous.
A little rough.
The second way,
bumpy and potholes and just curvy and windy and cliffs and stuff. So, I mean, it's a beautiful road to take if you are prepared with your nice big SUV and you're not towing a lot and you don't have a lot on your roof like we do right now. So, so we came back to pick up some more items and from our place here, and so you can see we're sort of packed literally up to the edge here. But we're on road trip mode, so we have our drinks, pomegranate juice, obviously, we have water. We have also, this is a cool thing that you get on the side of the road, which is coconut water. So fresh coconut water. So they take a coconut and they chop off the top and they pour the coconut water in here. I think this is 2 coconuts, right?
no, that's about.
Is that one?
It's about 5 or 6.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
so they're not big coconuts.
Well,
but they put a hole in it, they chop off, and they get down to the meat part, and they give you a little bit of the white stuff in there. This is fresh. This is just today, so it's not like gross.
that's a whole liter of coconut water, so that's a lot of liquid, and that's why we're saying about 6 coconuts that make up that, and the cost of that is 30 pesos, and if you did the exchange rate right now, it's close to 20 pesos per dollar, so it's almost like it's almost half the price of that, so you're looking at about maybe $1.50 for a liter of fresh coconut water.
Fresh coconut.
Delicious.
And you can get it as a crema, or you can get just the water that comes out. What do they put in the cream one?
And in the crema, what they do is they'll take a little bit of the coconut milk, coconut meat, the white part, and they chop it up, and they put it in the blender, and they add some sugar so it's sweet, and they mix it with the coconut water, and it's a very sweet.
It's a sweet drink.
Yeah, and that's why they call it coconut cocoa crema.
Coconut water is really good for you because it's just very good for your whole system. I mean, you know, when you live in the tropics, you hear so much about organic coconut oil, and obviously fresh coconut milk and coconut water, and the benefits, health benefits for you. And when we were here and living here most of the time, you know, every time Joe would go into Cancun, he'd stop and pick this up. I'm sorry. He'd stop and pick some of this up to us, for all of us, like almost daily. Honestly, it was almost daily we were getting it. So it's really good for you, very good for your digestive system. So I highly recommend it. I know when you go into, say, Whole Foods or one of these local health food stores, you're going to be
pasteurized.
You're gonna get, it's gonna have to be pasteurized. It's not gonna be fresh. And even if you get that fresh coconut, it's probably not an organic coconut. I will tell you that much. Now, how we know that is because in Mexico, although they don't certify their produce as organic or not organic, they don't use pesticides and certain things because it costs a lot of money. And to get certified costs a lot more money.
Right.
So for them, they just grow it with basically the same way people have been farming for thousands of years. And so a lot of the things that you get aren't like, they're not always beautiful fruits or beautiful vegetables or the beautiful kinds of things, but they really are amazing and they taste good. Honestly, living in Hawaii, the pineapples weren't even remotely as sweet as the pineapples we get here, and I have no idea why. But they have really good things in Hawaii. But their flowers in Hawaii smell prettier than the same flowers here.
Right.
But for some reason, their fruits and vegetables here are just off the charts awesome. So the coconut is different, the pineapple is different, and it's totally organic. And you know, it's something that everybody should try if you come down here, and you'll see them on the side of the road. There's a guy in a truck. Everything's on the side of the road in Mexico. It doesn't mean it's not safe, and it doesn't mean it's not good for you. You know, obviously you want to see how they're preparing the foods, but you know, the guy does this right in front of you. He takes the coconut right out of the chilled container right in front of you and chops it all up and throws it right in there in front of you. So you know that it's fresh, completely fresh at that moment. So anyhow, so we got our goodies. We're on our road trip, and
So not to cut you off, but to get back to the direction of where we're going, once we get to Mexico City, instead of going through the coast side or the Gulf side, we're going to cut up through almost not the middle of the country, but through Mexico City, head towards Monterrey, and then when we get to Monterrey, we'll just go from that point, we'll go east and then go to Reynosa. So, and the reason for that is because it's just more highway, and you know, carrying all this luggage and stuff, it's just,
gotta be careful.
we want to be careful, make sure that, you know, you got all these, when you go through the poblados, it's just more potholes, more speed bumps, and the speed bumps they call topes. So these topes, which are speed bumps, is
brutal on the transmission, brutal on the suspension.
The suspension.
The tires, you hit those at a full. That's why there's all these tire shops all along the highways, because of the potholes and the topes, hitting those topes. And you see so many times coming up to a tope, because it'll be in the middle of a really busy road. You'll see everybody, oh my God, they see it at the last minute. You see the screeching tires, and then you see them bottoming out on the tope, and you see them landing on the other side the way the tire marks are. So those are
only people that are unfamiliar with the area.
But when
locals,
when you're from Mexico, you realize when you're coming into a little town, a poblado or a town, they will always put these topes to get you to slow down. Because honestly, a lot of the kids,
no streetlights.
A lot of the kids walk back and forth, and they walk across highways. So these little kids are walking back and forth from school. You know, grandma's coming from the market with her little granny cart of goodies. And there's people walking and milling all about. So when you're doing 60 miles an hour and you're coming into a town, they want you to slow down so you don't hit somebody. And that's their way. Instead of putting a light up, that's their way of getting you to slow down. And it works really well, because you hit a few of those topes, believe me, you'll remember that. Believe me. You can ask our son Julian. I think he hit the roof a few times when we first came to Mexico. Not great. So
do we want to flip this around? Can you flip it around?
Not while I'm doing it. So we're gonna turn the camera. We're gonna let you see the road. It's not really beautiful, but this one is just a highway road. So hold on. Okay, Okay, so this is the highway. As you can see, I think the one thing that surprised me the most when I came to Mexico, this is a very, very quiet road, by the way. Very few people are ever on this road. I don't know why, but
This is called the Merida Road, and this runs from the city of Merida, which is what Kelly was telling
you
you
see
earlier.
that's the sign for it up ahead.
It says Merida, and it runs from Merida to Cancun.
Right.
So it's the major access fare from Merida to Cancun. And the roads are in excellent condition. I mean, these are the paid roads. They call them quota. The quota roads. See, if you saw that up on top, CUOTA. And if you're driving through Mexico, it's always best to stay on the quota road, because even though that they're paid highways, they're maintained much better.
The money maintains the road, and it also maintains, as you can see, call boxes,
Right.
and also it encourages the police to go up and down this highway a little bit more. So I'm told.
And again, we're saying that not that it's safer. People keep talking about Mexico as being either unsafe or anything else. Even when we came into Mexico 2 weeks ago, we came in through Reynosa, and it's just another city, and it depends. What you're involved with is going to determine what your outcome is. And what I mean by that is, if you're looking for trouble, no matter where do you go? You go to New York, Chicago, and anywhere. If you're looking for trouble, you're going to find trouble. But if you just mind your own business and just drive, you see everybody else doing the same thing.
Right.
There's.
But as you can see, as I was saying before, I think that the one thing that surprised me about Mexico when we first came here is really how much their roads look like our roads. I mean, the
Right.
signs are the signage is the same, and I think keeping it sort of, now we're coming into a rest area.
This is the only rest area between Cancun and Merida. Between Cancun and Merida is a 3-hour drive, and an hour and a half, this is actually right in the middle. And they do sell gas here. It is a service rest area. They have bathrooms here, and they have
Nice bathrooms, very clean.
They have little tiendas. And look, that's brand new. Subway. They just put that in. That's new.
They have a great coffee company. In there.
Great coffee.
Italian coffee company.
That's the name of it, Italian Coffee Company.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good. As we said, it's the only rest area between the two cities.
So things are very much the same, and I don't want people to always think that when you come to
Can I get a white,
Mexico,
please?
you're gonna have donkeys and men in sombreros. Although you do get that in some places, maybe up in the mountains of Veracruz.
Well, you may see it on the side of the road here, but those are people who are actually working, and you may just see them. Not that they're on donkeys. They have bicycles and different mopeds and different vehicles, but those are the workers. They're going into the farm areas, and it's no different than in different parts of the U.S.
Right.
Same thing. You can, when we travel through the U.S., depends on what area of Missouri, because we're in, that we're driving through, and it's going to determine the type of person that you're seeing.
So what we're going to do is, because we're unable to go live, probably because of the internet signal or not internet signal, I'm
We
not
can
sure.
try again.
And we will try again. We're going to post this into a little video and put it on I Survived Mexico. And we're just going to post as we go through. And when there's interesting things to see that I think that, Americans should see, or anybody really, Canadians, Americans, Europeans, anybody really should see what it's really like. It's not dangerous. It's not, bad. It's just different. It's just a different way of living. But there's the same, like the roads are the same. So we're going to post as we go along. I just wanted to do this quick little video, and when we come into Merida, as we scoot through there, I'll make a quick little video there too. Otherwise, if we can go live, we will. So we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, we're just coming to the toll part of the toll road. Is this the first toll or the last toll?
Second. Remember, the first one was 305.
Okay.
So I don't know how much this is.
So you can see to the right, the sign says that we could go to Chichen Itza.
Buenas tardes. ¿Cuánto? De nada.
175.
175 pesos. Gracias. Sigue sonriendo. She
That
liked
was
it.
a good reaction.
That was
Okay, so to the right is Chichen Itza, and straight ahead is Merida, where we're going.
But in order to do that, hon,
You'd have to be in
you'd
the
have to
far
be-
right,
right, you'd have to
toll.
be in the right lane, yeah.
Exactly. So the toll here was 175 pesos, which is
$10.
about $10. Okay.
$9 and change.
Okay, for that long road that was paved well.
But that's the second one. The first one was 305, so that's really the second one and 2/3 the way. That's the only one. Excuse me, not the only one. There's two of them. The first one and the second one. So altogether, you had 305 plus 175 is 480. So just under 500 pesos.
And there's
For the whole. That's for the whole way.
for the whole road. And how long do you think this road is?
It's 3 hours. I think it's two. I'm gonna. Oh my goodness, Kel.
That was a.
Let me get an idea as to how many.
Well, it doesn't matter. So for about
Let me
3
see
hours.
how many. Let me see how many miles it is to this point.
Okay, so for 3 hours, we paid how much?
Well, it's going to be for 3 hours. Right now, it's for. To give you the exact, let's look at it. That's 132 miles we just drove.
Okay.
So 132 miles plus, I'm going to say about another 70. So about 200 miles altogether is this
Okay.
road.
Okay.
And
You can see this is not like this isn't a road that's got like, because it's a toll road, it's pretty segregated from the rest of the road systems. You know, that keeps it as a toll road. And there's
it keeps it maintained as well.
right,
so it's
and
maintained
there's
very
no stores or tiendas, as they say, along the way here. There are farms to the
Except-
right and left of us, except for that central area
Right.
that you stop for gas, because it is a long road there, and you need a place to sort of take a break and stretch your legs a little bit. We've done this road a lot of times, just so many times. So that's usually the place that we stop and get some coffee. But you can see it's not like a spectacular road, so we're not going to film a lot of it, but we did want to show you the toll when we're coming up to pay. So
Now, these roads aren't necessarily all of them that you have to pay, but when you do have a toll road, they are maintained like this, and they are what you would call a highway. They're a highway.
yeah.
If you take the free road, was a libre. One is a quota, which is the paid road, and then the other one is a libre, which is a free road. And if you take that,
You go through
the poblados,
villages and towns.
and this on the highway is a 3 hour drive. And if you go through the poblados, it's probably, I'm going to say, 8 hours to 10 hours going through all those poblados.
Yep, and there's a lot of traffic circles, and there's a lot of traffic because most people take the free roads, and that's where most of the business highway traffic is going through. So you could be going through a town at maybe 20 miles an hour behind a lot of delivery trucks, and everybody's going over tope, so you slow down to go over the tope. It's really it's a time issue for sure. And so taking a nice direct route that is a paid route that doesn't slow you down, it cuts a lot of time off of your journey.
Right.